Hey everybody, it's Cory. I am doing a real quick one today. Somebody was concerned about my dietary needs and said that I don't eat enough fish. All I do is eat like pork and bacon and fat things, which is not true. I usually eat fruit and vegetables and a lot of other things. However, since someone made that comment, what I'm going to be making today for you is some fried fish fillets. These are some perch that a friend of mine from work caught and filleted them all out and gave me a giant bag of fish. So we're going to be eating or making some fish. I'm going to be eating them. You're just going to be watching me make them, I guess. So anyway, if you've never went fishing and had to clean fish, it can take a minute. It's not the quickest, easiest thing in the world. But after you catch a lot of fish and you get used to it, it becomes pretty second nature on how to clean them, skin them, whatever, depending on the kind of fish you get. Oh, wonderful train going by right now. So, yeah, it depends on the fish. Like, catfish have skin, not scales, so you have to peel them, or you can just cook them with the skin on. Most fish you can cook with the skin on, so you don't have to worry about it. You can just leave them the way they are, and it's not gonna hurt anything. I mean, you don't have to eat the skin. Some people do, but I wouldn't suggest it. It's kind of, in my opinion, kind of gross. But anyway, I'm gonna turn this light on so I can see, even though it gives me some horrible backlighting. But anyway, so what I did was I blended up 2 eggs. I have a cup of flour with salt, pepper, and some other spices in it. Garlic powder, a little bit of flavored garlic salt, stuff like that. I like garlic anyway. And then just some plain old ordinary everyday cornmeal. That's what I got. So anyway, first you take said little fishies and you check and make sure your grease isn't gonna be too hot. You can use any kind of grease. I suggest using peanut oil if you want your fish to be crisp. If you use veggie oil kind of sucks on fish. I wouldn't suggest using veggie oil. It's bad. Adam, if you're watching, if we would have actually caught some little fishies, this is what we would have been eating over the campfire. But since it rained and our little camping trip sucked, I'm eating fish that somebody else caught. All right, anyway, so you dip the fish in the flour first, and then you dip it in the egg, and then you hold it over. You let some of that eggy goo ooze off a little bit there. Yeah, all right, and then you throw it in the cornmeal. You give it a little hoop on here. Oh, it looks tasty. All right, and because these are just little tiny like perch pieces, they're they might even be crappie. I think the bluegill. I don't know. She told me what they were. I don't remember what they were. But anyway, so I like to wash my hands a lot while I'm cooking, so I usually keep a rag over my shoulder. You want about 1/4 of an inch of oil in there. Since I'm using this ginormous huge pan, I don't want it to have too much oil in there, but I want to have enough oil that it comes up over the sides of the fish just a little bit, because I don't want to, I just don't want it to get burned. But anyway, so these go pretty quick, and they're very thin. Oh, let's see. Grease is melting pretty fast. It's probably hot enough. Oh yeah, we get a little sizzle going. Now, one of the big things with fish is people overcook it. They get all freaked out that their fish is gonna give them trichinosis and all kinds of weird ick diseases and whatever. Usually you want to cook your fish till it's opaque. So that means when your fish is not able to be seen through, because some fish is kind of slimy and you can see through it, then that's opaque. That means it's good. You can go ahead and call that done. If you're baking fish, same thing. You don't want to bake your fish till it's dry, because dry fish is terrible, and you don't want to, serve people stuff that's yucky. Anyway, so you just kind of shake these little bad boys off. You don't need to crowd the pan, and since, like I said, they're really tiny little fishies, you can do a couple at a time if you want. I usually two-hand it because well, one hand gets all sticky with the egg mess and the other hand is dry, so you have a sticky hand and a dry hand. Thank you, whoever liked that. Anyway, I'm going to flip these over. And the goo, you don't need a whole lot of egg. You're just trying to get the stuff to stick to it. So you can whack it around in there. Now, I'm all about the ghetto Tupperware. You know, you don't have to have the good stuff. Speaking of that, Adam, I did not have to call poison control. I did not hurt myself with the flea bomb juice. Anyway. Whoa. No. Okay. Don't suggest sticking your hands in hot grease, but, you know, hey, sometimes you got to rescue a piece of fish that goes errant on you. All right. Oh yeah, that's what the spatula's for. Anyway. All right, so pound the flour off. Dip it in the egg. Again, you got a dry hand, you got a wet hand. One's picking up the fish out of the egg and dipping it in the cornmeal. The other one is taking it from the flour and putting it into the egg. And you will run out of egg really quick if you try to, if you don't take the time to kind of let them chill for a minute before you move them into the pan. Because, there we go. If you don't take the time to let them chill out a minute and drip this extra excess goop off, you'll end up using like a dozen eggs. And then you'll have like these big hunks of scrambled egg on your fish, which is kind of gross. So I wouldn't suggest that. So you see, I'm kind of letting it dangle. Alright. And if it folds over, use your dry hand to move it around. And bam. Alright, it's about 2.5 minutes aside. For these little bitty, tiny fillets, I'm sure I probably don't need to have them in there that long. Also, what you can do, or you want to do, because these are so tiny, you're going to be cooking so many over time, you want to have the oven at 250, and you want a little warming plate in there to warm up to keep the fish warm, because, you know, who wants to eat cold fish? That's kind of gross. Alright, so I'm going to flip some of these. Look like they've been in there long enough. Maybe not. Oh, they're looking pretty tasty. Oh. Hot grease. Hot grease on the little pain. It's all good. Alright. Alright. Oh, those look yummy. Little tiny fish fillets. Alright, so I'm going to take you over here so you can see the fishies cooking. Look at that. Oh yeah, those are good. Golden brown fishies. And the good thing about like these little bluegill panfish things, they're made to be, God made them to be put in the pan because they taste really good when you pan fry them like this. You know, some people don't like the taste of fish. You know, then some people are like, oh, you hurt the poor little fishy when you caught it with a hook. Yeah, well, sucks to be a fish. On the bottom of the food chain, he gets ate. Alright, so I'm just going to use a little bit of flour, and you can smell the paprika and the pepper and stuff going on in there. And you can hear the fish frying in the background, I'm sure. I may have to turn that down just a little nugget of a bit. Not sure who's watching. I know some people said I should try to be on a little more often. Trying to get this done before 8 o'clock. We have a game. Anyway. Spank this around in there. Cover it up. Oh, see, look at that. You don't have to put too much on it. Just a light dusting. You know, it's going to come out real good. All right. And again, so the different greases that you use take different temperatures and they cook differently. So like I say, if you're using a vegetable oil is terrible for cooking something that you want crunchy, unless you burn the snot out of it. It doesn't hold the heat well, so I don't suggest using veggie oil if you want to fry something. Again, I'm using my snow-capped lard because lard works really good. But also you could use Crisco if you like the veggie stuff. That's not, you know, as bad for you. But not like vegetable oil. You don't want to use, you wouldn't use this. This would be a bad. This is a no veggie oil. No. You want to use peanut oil is really good. That's if I had it, I would be using peanut oil. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to dry these off. Oh, bye whoever logged off. Thanks for watching. Some of these are done already. I'm going to put them on the plate. With a napkin. So the plate with the napkin on it is just to drain some of the excess grease off, because they are going to be a little bit greasy. But what you can do is while it's, you know, you're just draining it for a second, and then you're going to pop it in the oven to keep it dry, keep it warm. So I'm just letting it kind of sit there and chill for a minute, suck a little bit of the oil off. And then I'm going to open up the old oven here, and I'm going to put these little pieces of fishy in there. Woo! Boy, that's hot. Okay. Yeah, you got me. I used a hot hand this time. The oven's a little bit warmer, so I'm not going to be grabbing stuff with my bare hand and sticking it in there. Anyway. Again, your fish should be flaky. You have to be careful because, like I said, this was caught. A friend of mine caught it, and her husband skinned it and filleted it and all that. You really have to be careful with fresh caught fish like that because there's going to be bones. One of the reasons they tell you to eat bread when you have fish is, you know, if you start choking on one of them little bones, the bread will go down and it'll push it out of the way. So, you know, when Jesus did the loaves and the fishes, it wasn't just, you know, that wasn't just some crap he made up because that's all he had was the loaves and fishes, because that's like a thing. You want to eat bread with your fish. Anyway, so we'll flip this away. Are you laughing at me, Adam? I know you are, because you're an RP, and that's what RPs, they know all that stuff, right? Study the Bible and the Quran and freaking all that other Jewish people use. Anyway. So look at that. Dripping the egg off. Let all that excess egg drip off of there. Because we're not trying to make scrambled eggs. We're making fish. Alright, bam. Put that bad boy in there. Give him a little love. Take him out. Yeah, okay. I don't remember if I put any in there already, so I may have. Get my wet hand and my dry hand messed up a little bit. Kind of, that's why I have a fork over here for when I do dumb things like that. Alright, there we go. End up with two wet hands, then you're kind of hosed. Alright. And if you see me, like I'm shaking this all the time, I'm shaking it to level it out a little bit so that when I dip the fish in there, I mean, you can see through that. That's how thin this fish is. I mean, it's definitely really thin. Oh, damn. Didn't I say something about bones? Oh, yeah, anyway. So be careful, choking hazards. Again, like most of the things I make, children and old people probably shouldn't eat this because if it has bones in it, they're going to choke, and that could be bad. And if Jared, if you're watching, because I know you and Michelle watch sometimes, you know, I don't know. I think Mav could handle some fish. I think he would dig it. Take that boy fishing, damn it. All right, so what do I got? 7:30. Probably only gonna make just a couple of more of these since it's just me and I'm gonna be gaming later. I'm gonna snack on these like little potato chips, except they're gonna be fishy chips. Not fish and chips, fishy chips. Anyway, so that's all that. Nice and thawed. I'll probably make some fish again tomorrow. This guy here has been in there a minute, so he might be done. Transfer him over to the plate. Come here, plate. All right, so anyway, when you take them, when you're defrosting fish, definitely don't want to do it in the microwave. It's not like chicken or beef where you can just throw it in the microwave and, you know, whack it for a few seconds. And like, I don't even think there is a fish setting. There might be, but I wouldn't defrost fish in a microwave because it's going to be gross and it's going to cook a little bit. So anyway, so I take a napkin. I lay the napkin on top of the little fish fillets to dry them, top and bottom. Just keep flipping them in here, trying to get a little bit more expedited so I'm not late, because I was late yesterday. Anyway, so, oh man, you can just smell. Oh, whoops, I did forget a couple of fish in there, so my bad. All right. All right, let's take this bad boy in here. Let him drip a little. That bad boy in there. Get some dry ones. I'm not left-handed, but I'm using my dry hand in my left hand, and it's kind of messing me up a little bit. All right. So, anyway, see, I still have a whole lot of egg left. Can you see that in there? Yeah, it's only 2 eggs. If you, like I said, if you don't let them drip and you just go for it, then you're gonna have scrambled fish. It's kind of gross, unless you eat that way. You know, it could be. Maybe you like scrambled eggs and fish. I don't know. And then sometimes the way that I'm frying these also, it'll cook up some of the smaller bones. I mean, I'm not like burning them or anything, but you know, some of the littler bones in the fish do cook up a little. I guess we'll find out later when I'm on Team Steep Beak. If I start choking to death on my fish, then guys will know that I did not get all the bones. All right. All right. In my haste to get done, I will call that good. So, anyways, I appreciate you watching. I'm almost out of cornmeal, and I'm on my last 3 fish fillets. I will pull the plate out and show you what the finished stuff looks like, because normally the stuff I cook takes too long to finish, and you don't ever get to see what the finished product looks like, because I don't have time to cook the whole thing for you. So let me wash my hands. Okay. So let me see. Plate's gonna be hot. All right. So, you see that? Can I get up there high enough? Oh, look at those little fishies. Maybe I should tilt it. There we go. Yeah, nice crunchy little fish fillets. And that is my fish fillets in the oven. I'm going to put the rest of this batch around in here. Some of these bad boys might be getting done. Fish is another good one that you can mess it up, but if you overcook it, it's just going to be dry. And I mean, who really wines if it's dry? That's why you put lemon on it, right? Just gush it down with some lemon juice, or you know, make some tartar sauce and tell the people to suck it up if they don't like dry fish. You know, and just try better next time. But some of these are pretty thick, so they're taking a minute to get done in the insides. But oh yeah, that looks like a box fish right there. Yeah. Woo. Okay. I'll heat that guy back up. He doesn't look like he's done all the way. Probably was. I don't know. Alright. Oh, we got 2 people watching now. Woohoo! Man, look at that. Alright, so fluff. Drop him in the egg. Fluff. I have way more flour than I do cornmeal right now, so I may have to rectify that situation here in a second, because we want them to be nice and crunchy, and if I run out of cornmeal, that won't happen. Alright. This is another one where, like, you don't have to measure stuff. You can just, like, you know what you like. If you like stuff hot, throw some hot stuff in there. You don't like hot stuff, then don't put no hot stuff in there. You like it salty, throw some extra salt on it. You know, if you want it lemon buttery, and, you know, use your imagination and your own taste, and figure out what you like, and make the fish any way that you think is groovy and that you like. Try to get away from me here. That one's overcooked. Alright, so if you overcook it, it's going to look like that. Really dry. And I guarantee when you whack into that sucker, that's going to be like biting into a fish cake. So another thing you have to watch out for is, like, where did these fish come from? And how many portions of fish can you eat, depending on where you get them from, because some rivers are not safe to eat the fish from, as we found when we went camping. So if you're eating certain amounts of fish out of the James River, they suggest some of them you can't eat any of, because there's so much mercury and crap in there. So, you know, here we're worried about global warming. Should probably worry about freaking poison in our water. Alright. Fishy. So anyway, I know these fish were caught on Raccoon Lake. And I'm probably not going to eat all, I don't know, 15 or 20 or 30 fillets that I've done. Probably not. I might, but, you know, whatever. But anyway, it goes by age, body weight, and how much fish you plan to eat. So again, children and old people are the most susceptible to the gross, disgusting stuff in the water that would make you sick from the fish. So you have to be aware of that. Just a disclaimer. Anyway, this is my last little fish portion here. Yeah, get it out of there. And put this baby right here. Give it the scoop. Give it the flop. Alright, I still got a lot of egg left. I could probably bake some of these up, or, you know, make them up and just eat them later. I guess I don't have to make what I'm going to eat tonight. Probably won't eat all these anyway. You cannot save the goo after fish has been in it. It's not good to save any of the dry ingredients or any of the egg or any of that. You just get rid of it. So there is how to make panfish. Like I said, these are bluegills or perch or something. I don't know, probably crappies. I think she said bluegill. And fish trash usually stinks really bad, so you want to take it out, especially if you have a cat or a dog. And I have both, and they will both get into it and eat it out of the trash. So, alright. I'm a mess. I'm going to go eat my fish, and you guys have a good evening.